Welcome students of Thakur Vidya Mandir High School and Junior College. Chapter 9 Control and Coordination. So today let us continue with part 9. This is the last part of the chapter. In today's lecture, we will be studying about the most important sensory organ and part of our body, that is the eye. Eye. So the eyes, these are the pair of sensory organs of vision. Eye is important for vision. So these are pair of sensory organs of vision. So they are located in the orbit of skull with a cushion of fat around them. They are located in the orbit of skull. And actually there is a cushion of fat around the eye which protects our eye and insulate our eye. So each eye is spherical or rounded and called eyeball. So each eye is spherical in shape. They are like a round ball and hence they are called as eyeball. The eyes are protected bones, eyebrows, upper and lower eyelids with eyelashes, and the lacrimal, that is the tear glands. So the eyes, these are protected bones, eyebrows, upper and lower eyelids with lashes, and the tear glands. Movement of the eyeball within the orbit is controlled by 6 sets of muscles. Wall of the eyeball is made up of 3 layers, that is the sclera, choroid and retina. So actually the introductory part of the eye, you have to mention these points, that is the eyes, they are the sensory pair organs of vision. They are located in the orbit of skull with cushion of fat around them which protects them from any sort of damage and provides insulation. Each eye is spherical and rounded in shape and are called eyeball. So these eyes are protected bones, eyebrows, upper and lower eyelids with eyelashes, and lacrimal, that is the tear gland. So all this protects the eyes. Movement of eyeball, it is also related to 6 sets of muscles. It is controlled by the 6 sets of muscles. And wall of eyeball, the wall of the eyeball is made up of 3 layers. This is very important: sclera, choroid and retina. Diagrammatic representation of eye. So here you can see the diagram of eye with all the important labelings. You need to practice this diagram. So let us concentrate on the parts of the eye. So our eye is a slightly asymmetrical globe about an inch in diameter. It includes the iris, if you can see in the diagram. Now iris is the colored part. Next is the cornea. It is a clear dome over the iris. So over the iris is the cornea, which is a clear dome. Next is pupil. It is the black circular opening in the iris that lets the light in. Next, sclera. Now sclera is the white of your eye. Conjunctiva, it is a thin layer of tissue that covers the entire front of your eye except for the cornea. So iris, it is the colored part. Cornea, it is a clear dome over the iris. Pupil, it is the black circular opening in the iris that lets light in. Sclera is the white of your eye, the white secretions. And next is the conjunctiva. It is a thin layer of tissue that covers the entire front of your eye except for the cornea. Now here, just behind the iris and pupil lies the lens, which helps focus light on the back of your eye. Most of the eyes is filled with a clear gel called vitreous. So light projects through your pupil and lens to the back of the eye. The inside lining of the eye is covered by special light sensing cells that are collectively called the retina. So the light sensing cells are the retina. Now what it does, it converts light into electrical impulse. So behind the eye, our optic nerve carries these impulses to the brain. The macula is a small extra sensitive area in the retina that gives the central vision. Now we observe people with different types of color eyes. So the eye color is created by the amount and type of pigment in your iris. So the color of your iris, the pigment of your iris is responsible for the color of your eye. And it may be some genetic factor because multiple genes inherited from each parent determine a person's eye color. So here the eyes, this is the very important part of our body, and you need to draw this diagram and also label all the important parts, and you should know the functions of all the parts. Generation of image. Now let us study how is image formed and how our eye it recognizes an image. So the light rays from the object it pass through the conjunctiva, cornea, through the pupil upon the lens and is focused on the retina to form an image. So the image is formed on the retina. So in the visual area of cerebrum. Now cerebrum, as we all know, the cerebrum it consists of the lobes, and each lobe has certain function to follow. So the visual area is the function of the cerebrum. So the cerebrum, what it do, it analyzes the nerve impulses and the image formed is recognized. Like there is changes in retina when the light rays fall on it. So the light falls on the rod and cone cells on retina, breaking up of light sensitive pigments by specific wavelength of light. So here is the flow chart given how actually the image is formed. So there is, number one, there is changes in retina when light rays it fall on it. Then what happens? The light falls on the rod and cone cells in retina. Then breaking up of light sensitive pigments by specific wavelength of light. So what happens? Actually the light of different wavelengths it pass on our eyes. So the breaking up of the light sensitive pigments is done. Then the stimulation of rod and cone cells and generation of nerve impulses. So the rod and cone cells it gets stimulated and they just pass the impulse, that is the message. So the nerve impulse is transmitted to bipolar nerve cell. Nerve impulse is transmitted to ganglion cells, which is connected to the cerebrum. So the nerve impulse in the axons of ganglion cells converge and leave via the optic nerve. Nerve impulse is transmitted by optic nerve to brain, and perception of image by the brain cells is done in the visual area, and the impulse and the message is passed, and hence the image is formed, is recognized in the visual area of the cerebrum. Coming to the next important sensory part and organ of our body, that is the human ear. So human ear is called statoacoustic organ. It has two functions. Number one, hearing. Number two, body equilibrium. Now here, body equilibrium means maintaining the balance. So hearing is obviously the important function. Without hearing, our body may not actually maintain a proper balance. So anatomically the ear is made up of three parts: the external ear, middle ear and the inner ear. So ear it consists of three parts: external, middle and inner. So let us see the external, middle and inner part of our ear. Diagrammatic representation of ear. So ear is the organ of hearing and balance. This part of the ear includes external or outer ear, which includes pinna, also known as auricle. So ear pinna, this is the outside part of the ear. The outside part of the ear is called pinna or auricle. If you can see in the diagram, the auricle, so that is the external or outer ear. Next is external auditory canal or tube. So this is the tube that connects the outer ear to the inside or middle ear. So you can see the auditory canal. So auditory canal is connecting the outer ear to the inner ear. So next is eardrum. It is also known as tympanic membrane. It is called eardrum. So the tympanic membrane divides the external ear from the middle ear. Tympanic membrane, it divides the external ear from the middle ear. Middle ear is tympanic cavity. You can see in the diagram tympanic cavity, the red color part beside the eardrum. So tympanic cavity, what it is doing, it consists of ossicles. There are three small bones that are connected and transmit the sound waves to the inner ear, and the bones are called malleus, incus and stapes. The three bones, important bones are incus, malleus and stapes. You can see above it is mentioned the ossicles, which consist of three small bones, stapes, incus and malleus. Next is eustachian tube. It is a canal that links the middle ear with the back of the nose. The eustachian tube, it helps to equalize the pressure in the middle ear. Equalized pressure is needed for proper transfer of sound waves. The eustachian tube is lined with mucus just like the inside of the nose and throat. So inner ear, it consists of cochlea, vestibule and semicircular canals. Now cochlea, if you can see in the diagram, cochlea, this contains the nerves for hearing. So cochlear nerve, you can see just above the cochlea is the cochlear nerve. It contains the nerves for hearing. Next is vestibule. This contains receptors for balance. Vestibular nerve, if you can see, so the vestibules, they contain the receptor for balance. And semicircular canals, semicircular ducts, which you can see, it contains receptor for balance. So the inner ear, it consists of cochlea, vestibule and semicircular canals. So cochlea, what it is doing, it is actually containing the nerves for hearing. Vestibule, it contains the receptors for balance. Actually it is balancing. As you know, the function of the ear is to maintain the balance, hearing as well as balancing. And next to the semicircular canals, and this contains receptors for balance. Hormones. So hormones, they are the chemical messengers that are secreted directly into the blood, which carries them to organs and tissues of the body to exert their functions. Now hormones, they are the chemical messengers. They are secreted in the form of chemicals. They are secreted directly into the blood, which carries them to organs and tissues of the body to exert their functions. Now there are many types of hormones that act on different aspects of bodily functions and processes. So now let us study what are the different hormones and from where they are secreted and what are their functions. Hormones, these are the chemical messengers which are secreted from one part of our body and they go to the other organs and perform their particular function. Now these hormones, they are directly allowed to flow in the blood, but from where these hormones are released? So here are the organs where you can see the hormones are released, that is the hypothalamus, pineal gland, pituitary gland and the thyroid. Most of the hormones are released from the hypothalamus, thyroid, pineal gland, pituitary gland. So the hypothalamus, it secretes the hormone like thyrotropin releasing hormone, dopamine, growth hormone, somatostatin, gonadotropin releasing hormone, corticotropin releasing hormone, oxytocin and vasopressin. Our thyroid gland, that is in the neck region, it includes, it actually the hormones which are released from the thyroid gland are triiodothyronine and thyroxine. Triiodothyronine is also known as T3, thyroxine is T4. So these are the hormones of the thyroid gland. Next is the pineal gland, and from the pineal gland melatonin is released. Next is the pituitary gland. The pituitary gland, it has two parts, anterior pituitary and posterior pituitary. So from the anterior pituitary, growth hormone is released, thyroid stimulating hormone, adrenocorticotropic hormone, follicle stimulating hormone, luteinizing hormone and prolactin. So these are released from anterior pituitary. Next is the posterior pituitary. So from there, oxytocin, vasopressin, oxytocin which is stored, and antidiuretic hormone, that is ADH, is stored. And there is also intermediate pituitary from where melanocyte stimulating hormone is released. So these are the main special glands and the parts of our body from the maximum amount of the hormones are released, which controls overall bodily function. Well, talking about the functions of particular hormone, number one is adrenocorticotropin releasing hormone. It stimulates the release of ACTH by the anterior pituitary gland. Next is thyrotropin releasing hormone. It stimulates the release of TSH, that is thyroid stimulating hormone, by anterior pituitary gland. GnRH, that is gonadotropin releasing hormone. It stimulates pituitary to secrete gonadotropins. Prolactin inhibiting hormones, that is prolactostatin. It inhibits prolactin release by anterior pituitary gland. Somatostatin, it inhibits the release of growth hormone. Now somatotropin, it stimulates the release of growth hormone, and somatostatin, it inhibits the release of growth hormone. So here are the some functions of particular hormones which is mentioned in your textbook as well. If we are talking about hormones, it is very important to know the gland from where it is released, what is the name of the main hormone which is released, and what does it affect on our body. So if you're talking about the gland, the first and foremost which comes is the hypothalamus, because maximum amount of hormones are released from hypothalamus. So hypothalamus, what it does, it stimulates and control the release of hormones from the pituitary gland. So actually hypothalamus is some way or the other is helping pituitary gland so that it stimulates and controls the release of hormones from the pituitary gland. Next, if you're talking about the pituitary gland, which is also known as the master gland. Now here are the two main important hormones, that is ACTH, which is anterior adrenocortical tropic hormone, and next is posterior, which is oxytocin. Now what is this ACTH doing? It stimulates the adrenal cortex and the release of cortisol during the stress response. So in the stage of stress, this hormone is very active. And next is oxytocin. It is responsible for uterus contractions during the childbirth. So whenever there is a childbirth and the uterus contraction, this this hormone is released during the delivery process. Next is the pineal gland, and the main hormone is melatonin, and it is responsible for important biological rhythms including the sleep wake cycle. Actually, the time you sleep, the time you wake up, actually that is all in the rhythms which is controlled by melatonin. Next is the thyroid gland, and the main hormone release is thyroxine, and the effects are that it is responsible for regulating metabolism. Adrenal gland, the main hormones are adrenal medulla, adrenaline and non-adrenaline. And the key hormones in this fight or flight for response, here the adrenaline, it actually always helps our body ready for fight. Next is adrenal cortex, that is cortisol. It stimulates the release of glucose to provide the body with energy while suppressing the immune system. Next is from the ovaries. Main hormone released is the estrogen, which controls the regulation of the female reproductive system, including the menstrual cycle and pregnancy. Testes in male, the main hormone released is testosterone, which is responsible for the development of male sex characteristics during puberty while also promoting muscle growth. So here are some hormones, the name of the hormones, the gland is given, the main hormone is given, and what are its effect, what are its function is given. So this is very important, which you need to know. So students, I hope you all must have understood the mechanism of hearing, the parts of the eye as well as the hormonal response in our body. What are its function, from where they are secreted, and what are the main hormones. So I want you all to just go through this part of the chapter in your textbook and do the assignment. Thank you.